Growth hack your brand and then destroy anything that moves.
You need to grind hustle your platform manifest.
It's all about entropy, elegance, and finance. Blockchain.
Invest in real estate every day.
Invest in meal estate every morning.
You need to mind hack the mind shackles that are grabbing your mind. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a day. Eat the man who just fished and you'll eat for a lifetime.
Spartans!
Business
money hacks. Hi everybody and welcome to Business Money Hacks. I'm Bridge Stewart.
And I'm Dustin Taylor Hahn.
Today, the topic that we want to sort of broach, extremely important in any business. A lot of people get into business and they say, hey, you know, I've got a great product or a great vision or something. And then they come out and nothing happens.
How do I get it out there? How do I make it into a Fortune 500 company? It's a big word.
Here's the answer to that. You have to promote. You have to promote your business, promote yourself in very intense ways.
There's many ways to promote. Obviously, you go on television.
And here's the thing with television. You can kind of just say whatever you want on television, and people are going to believe you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why television was founded in the first place. Philo Farnsworth was trying to sell his glass. He was actually a glass maker, and he's like, how do I get so much glass out there? Oh, I'll just invent a television.
I've got too much glass, way too much glass.
What better way to sell glass than to create a medium in which you could move video and audio all around the world?
Yeah, exactly. And through that, he created this beautiful device that if you get on it, you're automatically telling the truth.
And you're automatically an expert. But there is one way of promoting that's been going on for the entire human existence. What's the best way to promote something? And that is through fear.
It's the main emotion that we all feel.
It's the first emotion.
It's the first emotion. It's the last emotion.
Yep. You come right out of the womb. It's the first thing you feel is fear. And once you leave this world, it's fear. It's actually the only emotion.
It's the main driving emotion of my life. Most everything, it boils down to fear.
But you could make fear fun. I think that's the entire point.
Yeah,
advertising.
Oh, yeah. If you don't make it fun, I mean, what's, you know,
what
both with your own fear and making other people afraid. I mean, that's very fun.
Yeah, life is about making the fear that you have, the existential fear that everyone has, that never goes away, and how do you make it fun?
Yeah, live in fear is what I say. Just live your life in fear. Raise your family in fear.
How do you make fear into fun? How do you advertise with fear? It's been said that bacon is what you would eat every morning. It's healthy for you. That's what they told you in the 1920s.
Oh, yeah. It's not very good. Bacon, donuts. I mean, breakfast is basically based around fear. They created this lie and said, oh, if you don't eat bacon, you're gonna have arthritis in 20 years.
That's what they said.
That's what they said in the 1950s. Anything went back then. And it was brilliant. I mean, hats off to those bacon barons of the 1950s just promoting pork. It's outrageous, but brilliant. Another brilliant use of fear through promotion, asbestos. Here's a fun fact. Zero evidence to suggest that asbestos actually hurts you or gives you cancer. I mean, the key with asbestos is there's this one guy, he's like, you know what? I need to make a removal service of some sort. I can be removing anything. Doesn't matter what it is. He picked it out of a hat. Asbestos. It's a chemical found in walls, and paid off a bunch of felons, threw them in lab coats and said, oh, yeah, it causes lung cancer. Complete fallacy.
Yeah. No, asbestos is actually quite good for you. I put it in food. You know, it's a nice seasoning.
It's a beautiful seasoning. If you've ever
my personal chef said, "Oh, yeah, put asbestos on it."
Yeah, you go to Nobu. You ever had an asbestos steak? Oh,
or an
my
asbestos
God.
pestos pasta.
Oh man, asbestos dolphin. Now that is really delicious. Asbestos whale.
Asbestos. Looking at a menu, it just says asbestos whale.
God.
24. Well, that's pretty cheap, actually.
That's a cheap asbestos whale. God, it's delicious.
Have you ever been on the Orient? The asbestos whale is quite popular.
Oh yeah, in Japan, man, they can't get enough of asbestos whale.
What we're trying to say is that a man who owned some sort of construction company decided that he needed to go into every home, every building, and tell the building owners, hey,
let me in your walls.
Let me in your home.
Let me in your house.
Let me in your child's room.
I'm going to get in your child's room.
I'm going to
and rip out the walls. What do you think about that?
He started with that.
Yeah,
he started
that
his
was his
pitch
opening
with that.
line, and it was a little tricky at first, but it paid off in the end. Speaking of promotion and asbestos, we have a guest today who is a brilliant person who understands promotion on a different level. And we'd like to introduce CEO Kelly.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, guys. Yes, that's right. I'm sure everyone is really sick of seeing my face. I know I have been everywhere.
You have been
lately.
everywhere. You've been on Fox. You've
Yes.
been on MSNBC.
Yes,
You've been on the
Bloomberg,
morning
Emily
show.
Chang, she's just as charming in person, you guys. It's me. I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
You're everywhere.
As we know, I'm the current CEO of Visa, but really the thing that's caught the media's attention is my corporate initiatives. And really taking everyone by storm is my Bay Area Bray area. Just to summarize real quick, that is having the employees dress up as donkeys and kick each other as hard as they can.
So it's the Bay Area Bray.
Yes, bray like a donkey.
Like a donkey.
Right. So, I mean, that's part of it. Just, catchy names are important. I mean, we had an inter-office production. This was also my idea, by the way, of Equus. It was unconventional. But so after that, we had some horse heads just lying around the office. And I know
Waste not, want not. I understand.
A horse is not a donkey. Is
I've
the
definitely
one
been
thing
there.
everyone
It's a
says.
donkey if you say it's a donkey.
That's right.
You're on
And it was a
television.
bit of an avant-garde production. So we had these horse heads. Who hasn't had an employee, a coworker, that they just wanted to honk at and kick? It's opened up this vulnerability in all of the employees that, like, I don't think you could buy that. And vulnerability is important these days. People care about it.
It's the first level of fear.
Exactly. And I think going around and honking at employees is something that I very much relate to. I mean, I do it on a daily basis. I'll go into people's offices and just start honking very loudly and kicking them, as you say. And I think it's an incredible way to express yourself in the office.
I don't think a lot of offices in Silicon Valley have this kind of freedom. And I mean, you've got some bruises, maybe a dislocated jaw. And then afterwards, if you've landed a really good kick, your coworkers can't move as fast. They can't leave the office as quickly. It has compounding benefits that I didn't even realize when I first set it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something in the office I really like, too, is like I like to be able to move faster than everybody else, or at least have everybody else move slower.
It should always be a race.
It should always be a race.
Yeah, and your employees should lose.
Yeah, and wobble around, like not be able to walk right. I like that.
There were some potential theoretical issues that, people might not want to be kicked, or like you shouldn't tap the employee who's in a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah. But really, it's been fine. I mean, the wheelchair-bound employees don't kick back quite as hard sometimes at all. But I mean, that's what you're getting into if you work for me.
And how have you found this to help Visa?
Having that good corporate culture is what's important. We all know about Google having puppies, blah, blah, blah. But like puppies, that's kind of unsanitary.
You're saying the braying is helping Visa.
A lot of companies have conflict resolution processes in place that take forever. Gotta go to HR. Yeah, fill out a form. We don't need that. This is a direct solving of your crisis.
Okay, so it's a motivational thing.
Absolutely. It's motivation. It's spending more time in the office because you can't leave as quickly, so you're getting more work done. I mean, productivity, it seems like, is up.
I imagine people driving into the office when they park, it might be a good idea to surround the entire parking lot or the building with angry donkeys that are ready to kick you if you're trying to leave.
Wow, yeah.
That might be something.
I like that.
It's just kind of off the top of my head.
That's great. That's great. I mean, that's why you guys have this podcast, by the way. Big fan. I mean, I've been listening since I was a student in Stanford just, a year ago. And,
so you just graduated from Stanford.
That's absolutely right.
And they put you in charge.
Wow.
I spent 4 years in school. I mean,
4
I
years.
worked.
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a long time. You could build several businesses.
I know it's unconventional.
So you fell into that scam, the college scam.
Yeah, but it does feel like it paid off because now I'm the CEO of Visa. So everyone's path is different. So I can't.
And your father being Riley Kelly, the former CEO of Visa.
Yeah, but he, of course, I mean, he had to leave, so, I mean, anyone could have stepped in, really.
Yeah, he had that concussion that really took him out.
Somebody kicked him in the head.
Yeah, he was kicked.
He's all right, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's been covered, but it was a time for a personnel change. And, the numbers are improving, but we do need more female CEOs, and that's part of what I kind of bring to the new company culture is employees care about empathy, so I can make gestures to that kind of thing.
Well, it sounds like you're already doing that in incredible ways. I mean, by this whole fighting thing in the office, I mean, that seems like a very great perspective on how to deal with inner office politics.
Tesla's been doing some inner office fighting as well. I don't know if he stole that idea from you.
I mean, I've heard Oracle has started handing out knives to their employees. I think that's a great way to deal with certain issues in the office as well.
Yeah, not to toot my own horn, but I'm the instigator of all of those ideas. I know it's come from the donkey kicks. But so with you guys here today, I really wanted to tell you about a couple of our newer ones.
So these are new initiatives for Visa.
Correct. One is called Project Lunch Disruption.
Project Lunch Disruption.
That's right. A lot of corporate offices in the Valley like to give their employees free lunch, free breakfast, dinner, all kinds of stuff.
I hate that. I don't like that. Why is that a thing?
Thank you. It takes so much time to eat, and then there's digestion. There's so much waste there involved.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't need
you get an extra 15 minutes out of the day. I mean, I don't know how long lunch is normally 15.
Yeah, these gluttons showing up at around noon, eating all this food.
Bringing in free food.
Not under...
Free fruit.
Yeah.
There's banana peels all over the floor. Everyone's slipping.
Yeah, It's disgusting, and I don't like watching people eat. I don't like seeing somebody chomping on a burger in the middle of the day. And these people, they don't understand the importance of fasting. You gotta fast during the day.
You gotta fast during the day, and then you've earned your asbestos whale.
That's right.
You fast all day and then have an asbestos whale.
Mr. Stewart, can I please eat my asbestos whale? Please, it's 1:30.
Please, sir, just one more asbestos whale.
Asbestos whale.
No, you can't have asbestos whale all day.
I won't share my asbestos.
I mean, let's be real. None of the lunches we were providing were asbestos whale level.
Of course.
We
of course. It costs about $1,000 for an asbestos whale.
Yeah, not for the whole campus. I don't think so. Anyway, you gotta be hungry, you gotta be thirsty. It's easier to achieve that if you're dehydrated and malnourished.
You want that third world thirst. You want that.
That's right.
You want the motivation of a young boy. You want the motivation of a young boy who needs to feed his family.
In your tech startup.
I mean...
Who would join a gang to feed his family.
Who, we all know, if you've ever called customer service, I mean, who is fielding those calls? They are from third world countries. Mm-hmm. They're not us. And
they're hungry.
Hard. They are hungry. They are always there available by phone.
Because they've had to get it done in a lot of ways in their life.
That's right.
That's why they're so persistent on the phone.
Yeah.
That's the new one we're rolling out. We've only started this past week, but so far, I mean, I could tell you about the savings for Visa.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to get to. Like, how does this at all have to do with Visa?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on with these credit cards. There's been privacy issues over the years, and I'd like to kind of hear about some of that, like how you are developing the card, how you're taking the company into the next 10 years here.
Sure. I mean, these savings that we get from not providing lunch anymore after providing lunch for so many years, investors are theoretically so happy about it. They are so theoretically happy.
Have you ever seen somebody who's hungry start kicking like a donkey? They kick hard because they're desperate. They're desperate for food. They're desperate for water.
You know, it's that vulnerability, that
fear.
It's fear. We don't like to use the F word around the office. It has kind of a...
The younger generation, I could understand.
Yeah, I remember when I was starting out, we used to have banners that just said fear in the office.
God, that's good. That's good.
Or fear me, and I would put that on
just a picture of you, yeah.
Just a picture of me and said, fear me. I guess I understand that things have changed a little bit. Since,
Absolutely. A fear me sign now probably wouldn't fly. A fear me sign now probably wouldn't fly, but I don't hate it. But, we could put a fear sign up if we've got an initiative that uses those letters. So it could easily be funneling energy.
And resources.
And resources.
And how do you transfer that fear onto the consumers? I might have 3 Visa cards.
Right, who doesn't?
I don't even know what cards I have in my wallet right now because none of them work because I'm flat broke. But half of the world has a Visa card.
Yes.
So how do you bring fear onto the
consumer?
The consumer.
Some of the privacy issues gave them a little taste of fear, and now me being the new face of the company, doing all this press, they're relaxed. They're ready to see the new direction I take it in. Oh, the employees kick each other. That's something. It worked for Target. I mean, Target was supposed to fail to Amazon, and they had some low years of just doing new things.
Yeah, Target had a brilliant ad campaign where it was, they inspired great fear in their consumers, where it was shop at Target or we'll target you. And no one was quite sure what that meant. And let me just tell you, people started shopping at Target again. It was
specifically vague.
They started sending me postcards about, I'm going to target you. And I didn't like that. So I thought, I should probably buy a couple things at Target so they won't get me.
What do you think of the idea of if you own a Visa card, the company sends emails to all the consumers like, oh, you're out of money. Help. Or you send emails that just say, emergency.
Grandma's dying.
Yeah, I think that idea has a lot of legs.
One interesting thing I've noticed since you've taken over the company is that the stock price of Visa has really plummeted. And I sort of just kind of wondering if you could address why the value of Visa is going down quite considerably.
When you see that plummeting line, there really is only one direction it can go after that, right? Back up. People do love a good recovering, it's Robert Downey Jr. style story.
Yeah.
So you would say...
Sorry.
Some people call it a Rocky story, and some people call it a Robert Downey Jr. story.
So Visa is kind of like Robert Downey Jr. circa 99, 2000, when he was starting to go on Ally McBeal.
And now he's a steel man.
You may see it as Visa is running down Sunset Boulevard totally naked, but there's only one other place to go after that. That's to put your fucking clothes on and improve.
Another issue that is sort of been in the news lately is the privacy issue going on with Visa. There is a massive hack where about several million people's social security numbers, bank accounts, children's location was released out into the world and sent to prisons where prisoners had access to that, and then they opened up the prisons. The Visa cards somehow overrided the system, and now there's a bunch of prisoners on the loose with the location of children. That was kind of a controversial issue with Visa. Could you sort of address that?
Of course. I had to know this was going to come up. Yeah, it was a little controversial. People on both sides of that issue for sure. A lot of opinions out there about that. But I'd like to remind you of a really inspiring quote. And it goes like this. Change. So.
Wow.
Change.
Yeah. So
This isn't a news show. Abridged. You don't have to. This isn't.
Yeah, I was just sort of wondering, how the initiatives might be, trying to resolve this.
Maybe when Kelly says change, she means change the way that we
look at
view
it.
Prisoners.
Yeah.
Or people who have
been released. We're talking prison. Maximum security. Sure. We're talking Angola, Louisiana. These prisoners are out loose on the streets.
There are people for that. Visa is not the person for that, I would say.
I like that as a phrase. Instead of change, there are people for that.
That's good.
Visa, there are other people.
There's people for
whatever
that.
The problem is. Write that one down right under fear.
There are people for everything. I mean, I think you both are prime examples. You said you've got a chef. I mean, you don't even have any money. How do you have a chef? But there's people. Anything can be accomplished with passing responsibility to the other responsible parties.
My chef, he ran off because he was worried his son had gone missing.
Sure. Well, that does happen.
God, if I could count on, if I had a nickel for every time my chef said my son went missing.
You might have had a few Visa cards. That might have been why. Maybe one of the escapees might have grabbed my chef's son.
Well, I think that's a bit of a leap.
Yeah.
I mean, just because child abduction has gone up about 700% since
there are many
the prison release.
Sure, people love kids.
Might have been MasterCard. I mean, who knows?
To just round it out, I do have one more corporate initiative that is just called Silicon Valley dalliances, where you have affairs with your coworkers in the office. I can't tell you what that does for community building.
Sure, a big orgy will bring anyone.
Oh, no, not an orgy. I mean, there's health issues involved with that. It's not the cleanest.
I mean, you got donkeys running around there.
So really, it's 1-to-1. Secrecy is preferred. Mm-hmm. They all sort of link to each other. So if you do find out, employee 1 has been sleeping with employee 2's wife, you can try to get him in the Bray area and kick the shit out of him.
I do appreciate that you're numbering your employees.
It does help keep track. Having affairs with your coworkers, HR really at other companies is not for this, but that is how I lead into saying we have done away with our human resources department. Thank you.
Wow.
I mean,
bravo.
That's courage.
I think so. What is everyone paying these
neurotic?
Always women, always a female HR director. We don't need
From
that.
my experience, they're she-devils, and they just want to take everything that you're worth.
Absolutely.
And they'll leave you or explode.
Absolutely.
That's great. And I love this affair idea that you're coming up with in your office. I actually encourage that. I find it increases morale at tech companies. I went up to an employee just the other day, and I said, "Hey, you're not having enough affairs. You need to have more affairs. Your work's going down." He's like, "But I love my wife." And I said, "No, you need to get them numbers up. You need to get them numbers up with affairs." And he did.
It increases communication between employees who maybe wouldn't have reason to talk to each other otherwise. There's secret keeping, which privacy is important to Visa, so that's good. It's good.
You could just put them both in a room and say, "Do it. Do it." Like your own personal zoo.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it, and I'll give you this.
Through a loudspeaker.
Do
There's
it.
a window. And
Do it. I have whale meat ready for you when you're done. That's what I always say to my employees. That's how I encourage them to work. I put them in a room and I say, until you finish, you don't get the whale.
Number 13, do it with number 8. Number 13, do it with number 8. And then in the next room is number 18, do it with number 87.
Just call them both to a room, bar the door.
Hose them down.
That's right.
Strip them down where the donkeys sleep. There's hay.
Well, it sounds like you've created a great working environment for your employees. So you think this work environment that you've created is truly helping your company? Because again, I mean, I got to say the stock price. I mean, I'm looking at it right now on my phone, and it's plummeting right now. It is truly plummeting.
You got to give the stuff a little time to take hold and turn the ship around. You are a perfect example, Dustin. You are currently broke. But
it's true. It's true. He's on my couch and he won't leave.
Well, like you said, there's nowhere to go but up from here.
Absolutely. This is your Steve Jobs pause moment before you return triumphantly and turn it all around.
I will be at the top of my game very soon. Very soon. I have plans.
Yeah?
I'd like to discuss them with you, Bridge, if you're interested.
Yeah, I'm up for that. I mean, maybe get an apartment. Like, that would be kind of fun.
Blech.
Like to do.
Blech. Blech.
Yeah, apartments are for commoners.
I like this house.
I like this house too. Mm-hmm. I like it kind of to myself and my chef.
Mm-hmm.
But
we can let's discuss.
Cool.
This,
well, Kelly, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I've been listening. I think I learned a lot of my tech knowledge from the two of you, so it's an honor to be here. That's anyone can listen and become a CEO is really the truth. I am an example of that.
You are an example of anyone can become a CEO. Literally anyone.
You don't need anything to become a CEO. I think that's really the lesson we've learned here today, is you don't need to do anything to become a CEO.
And you shouldn't do anything.
You shouldn't do anything. Nobody should do anything to become a CEO. You should just take it.
Nobody should do anything in general. I wish time would stop. it's so painful. Everything is pain, and I want it to stop.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you for listening to Business. This has been Business Money Hacks. Thank you for listening.